Hello and welcome back. Today I'm finally ready to talk about Diablo 4 Season 2. I've been waiting to hit level 100 and kill all the bosses a few times each to really feel out the Season 2 mechanics and the new changes. I really wanted to complete it all as much as humanly possible before I give my input on it. But overall, I can confidently say that Season 2 is a big step up from Season 1, and the changes so far have improved the game significantly. I can say that I had way more fun leveling and completing objectives in Season 2, but there are some negative things that we do have to discuss as well. First off, let's talk about the vampiric powers. In Season 2, the Season of the Blood, the new mechanics or the powers are called vampiric powers. In Season 1, they were called the malignant hearts. Now, in this season, we contract vampirism and essentially we get access to these new powers, and they're called vampiric powers. As you progress, you'll be able to level them up and unlock more of them. The powers themselves feel better than last season's malignant hearts because they're class agnostic, which really means that all classes can equip all the powers without restrictions. This allows all classes to incorporate the powers into their builds and build upon the character itself and improve it in significant ways. I do think the powers are a W for this season, even if they are not exactly a huge mechanic or huge power buffs. The next thing I want to talk about is Season 2 Blood Harvest. Blood Harvest is definitely an upgrade from Helltides, and as such many are calling it Helltide 2.0. This part is actually fun to do. Blood Harvest has activities within that allow for players to earn Tree of Whisper points almost passively as you complete and gather the season materials. My hope is that the next season or moving forward period, Blizzard will be inspired by the Blood Harvest and make changes to Helltides as it stands. In Season 2 of Diablo 4, there are actually new bosses for us to farm. The boss fights are mechanically interesting, however the bosses themselves are a little bit too easy. The drops themselves are great as it allows for players to get certain uniques that they want, but also the certain uniques that they need to make their builds come online. It also allows you to farm the uniques again in order to get a higher level of that particular unique. So overall, the boss integration in Season 2 is really good. The farming for materials is mostly fun except for one, living steel. Now, in order to go and face these bosses, what you have to do is farm for materials to actually summon the bosses. Living steel is one of the materials that you need to fight a boss called the Galvanic Saint. Now, the material itself is locked behind Helltides. This is particularly annoying because I feel like I have to go to Helltides now, and Helltides aren't always on. You have to wait about an hour or so before they come back on. You also have to get lucky on the hour that Helltides spawn in order to even farm enough materials for even at least 2 kills, bare minimum. And this takes way too long, and I hate that the materials for this boss are pigeonholed into Helltides. Previously, Helltides was probably the best part of Diablo 4, but with Season 2 I've grown to come and hate it. One of the big mechanic changes in Season 2 brings us the change of resistances. Previously, the resistances were pretty much useless, but compared to what we had previously, the new system is leagues better and actually feels relevant within the game. In the earlier levels, resistance in gear is going to be very important, as each of the new bosses actually have a particular elemental affinity, and as such you want to make sure that you stack that particular resistance to survive the encounter. Resistance matters now, and as such it beckons consideration for the player to basically pick and choose what particular items you're going to equip and you're going to reroll. So definitely is something that is great within Season 2, and it's something to keep an eye on. It is going to be very important as you come and level up. One of the updates I was looking forward to in Season 2 was that of the removal of objectives inside Nightmare Dungeons. The devs in the stream campfire chat stated that all Nightmare Dungeons objectives would be removed, and as of yet on October 26th they're still in. Nightmare objectives are the core cause of exhaustion of the Nightmare Dungeons themselves, and also the cause for most of the backtracking. I hope that they will implement that soon as far as the removal of the objectives themselves, or at least communicate an update regarding that change. In Season 2, we now have extended item powers and a rework to how items are dropped. The change overall is good in my opinion. I love that now in World Tier 3 and World Tier 4, the useless items are pretty much rare, you know, the white and blue items we don't use past level 20. In World Tier 4, I get almost exclusively Ancestrals, as it should be, and it feels great. Item power level is now capped to 925, and I don't really care for it too much. The positive thing is that in this season, you will be getting many more items, which mean more rolls for those perfect powers and gears. So you won't find yourself ever thinking, okay, I need to go get this legendary power, because in the season 2 for the blood harvest, you'll be able to go in and use your keys to open up as many chests as you like. Now, despite the positives I've been given to Diablo 4 Season 2 so far, we still have outstanding issues that are very apparent. The game has no endgame. Now, if I go and I kill Duriel, this is the boss that can drop the Uber Uniques, the level 100 boss, the final boss in Season 2, and I get, let's say, a Shaco or a Grandfather, 2 Uber Uniques. What exactly am I going to use these items on? Lilith is completely an uninspiring boss, so I wouldn't use it for that, although I could. And there is no next level content or World Tier 5 content to test your new and improved gear on. As I reached level 100, it became more and more apparent that I was just farming materials for chase items, which I would use for maybe an hour or so, and then realize that there's nothing else to do. Another issue is stash. It has been alleviated by the more stackable potions and the gem tab implementation, but really the key issue here is all the items that we store with legendary affixes or good rolls that we might use on either our own build, in future items that we're going to get, or in different iterations of our build, and we don't want to throw that away. Also, while we don't have any more gems in our inventory, there has been an implementation of boss materials. In fact, there's a total of 9 materials for bosses. So even though we got some alleviation, there's been more added by boss materials. The stash issue needs to be addressed ASAP, and I think the best fix for it, for the moment at least, is to use what the community has been suggesting, and many people have been suggesting since launch basically, and it's to give us a codex where we can store or upgrade our legendary powers. This way we won't have to store those items in the stash, and it gives us the space that we really need in order to store the things that we do want, whether that be uniques or whatever it is. Overall, however, Season 2 in Diablo 4 almost feels like a different game, and I do mean that in a good way. If you were wondering if this season is worth your time, I think that it is. If you own the game, I would give it a reinstall, and if you don't own it, I would maybe consider buying it, as right now it is on sale on both Steam and Battle.net. Now, with all that, thank you for tuning in today. If you did like what you heard, please be kind and give me a like and a sub, as it will definitely help me out big time in growing this channel. But other than that, goodbye for now and take care.